Welcome back, guys, to another installment of Bike Talk with BikeLane. This is the sixth episode where we'll be going over the history of bikes and what do bikes do to the economy. My name is Fernando. This is
Frankie with a Y, not an IE.
Ed.
Wilmer.
and this is BikeLane. All right, guys. So where should we start off?
Well, we
so
got two things on the plate. History of bicycles. And
how it affects the economy.
How it has impacted us.
And how has bicycles in general, since the beginning to now, has it affect all of us? How did it affect us all?
How it shaped our lives.
And how is it still affecting us at the end of the day?
Yeah. So a lot of you guys are probably on the internet. I know in my history class, I've actually seen this back in U.S. history. So the first, what everyone sees is the bike with the small rear wheel and then the big front wheel.
What do you call
That's
those?
like the.
Those are called the penny farthing.
Yeah.
And that was made by, give me 1 second, by a German called Baron Karl von Drais.
He's a German baron. His
Oh,
name is
German
Karl
baron.
von Drais.
Sorry.
You got an excuse for it, guys.
So there was also two other different models of bikes. One called the Bone Shaker, and then there was also another one called the, what was it called? The Hobby
Horse.
The Hobby Horse, yeah. So basically there was three bikes that people really started off riding, and one of them, it was kind of like what kids use, the balance bikes, how they learn. So basically the person just sits on it and their legs are out and basically they push themselves along, and I'm guessing with the momentum, they just balance themselves out and they know how to distribute their weight. And then I'm pretty sure later on they were like, let's add pedals so we go, and then that came on.
Can we talk about how these bikes got their names?
Yeah, because they came from an era where things were brand new. So
They came
Whole
from
bunch
an
of-
era where there was horses for transportation.
That's right.
yes.
That's what everybody used back then. Not only were the horses were used for farming, but they were also used for transportation to get from
Yeah.
here to there.
Not a lot of people know that New York City at one point was no cars and just horses.
Imagine that. Just,
Just
horse
horses.
lanes. Horse lanes across New York City.
Horses.
Let us all not forget the poop. Because horses poop. Right or wrong?
Yeah.
It's not like I'm lying, correct?
It's
Nah,
true.
that's right.
If
Thank you.
And
take a
in
stroll
addition
through
to
a
the
forest park.
tenements, you'd already imagine how New York was the Roma.
So the hobby horse got its name from obviously horses. So it's the bike that preceded horses. So after horses started the hobby horse. And then the Bone Shaker was just a very solid wheel. So it was wooden wheels. So solid tires, solid wooden wheels, and it would just shake your fucking head out.
Hence
Yeah.
the name.
Riding on the road, bike shakers. And there were no paved roads. So any road is gonna be a really rough road. So you're really gonna feel it.
It's like all the vibrations just like coursing through your body.
Right.
Let's throw out there, especially since we're talking about history of bicycling, whether it's here in New York or out in Europe. Let's keep in mind there's a lot of information, as we usually like to tell everybody. There's a lot of information out there. I want, when everybody gets an opportunity, to go to the New York Daily Times, and there is an author by the name of Evan Friss, Friss. He's the author of On Bicycles, a 200-year history of cycling in New York City. And the book speaks about how New York streets were underway to a booming cyclist economy. And it'll show you and he talks about from way in the beginning to where we at right now. So it's actually a good read whenever anybody gets the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Evan Friss.
And we could actually touch on that. So before the bicycle, the horses were the main transportation for everybody in the city.
Yep.
And then once the bicycle started rolling around, it started changing the way people see things. So instead of I need a stable to keep my horse in, it's I need a shed to keep my bike in. Or I need somewhere to stick it in. And I need somewhere smooth to ride my bike. And this actually started what we see now as smooth paved roads, because there were still no cars. There were bicycles. So everybody was riding their bikes around, and they were tired of getting shooken up. So people started developing smoother roads. So the smooth roads we know of today were actually made for bicycles, which is pretty sad because we don't see enough bike lanes anymore. Isn't that crazy? They were made for bicycles.
And now everything's taken up.
Yeah, and now the car has taken over. So, MOA.org, it's MOH.org, actually has a very lengthy article of the full history of bicycles affecting the city development. So bicycles have actually kind of forced the city to evolve into what we see today. And I say forced because it wasn't easy. Because people hate bikes for whatever weird reason.
Well, back in the day, when it first started, there was a situation where it was very, very expensive to get a bicycle. A bicycle was up there.
It was a luxury item.
It was a luxury item.
Yes.
And then it actually started out as somewhere where females and women can get into cycling as well. And they became actually women cycle racing. Also, when you get a chance, go into bikecitizens.net. It was an article that was printed out, and it was called in March of 2017, actually. But it's actually very credible for today's society, even though that was a couple of years ago. It's called 200th Anniversary, How the Bicycle Changed Society.
Oh,
read that. It's a very good article. I read the whole thing.
I have to tell you, Mr. Frankie, I also read the whole thing.
Hey, that's a good one.
The one thing that I really took from it was the way it influenced women dressing.
Yes, 100%.
Oh yes.
So there's. Go ahead.
I heard that they're like it kind of made them difficult to wear regular clothes because they used to always wear dresses.
No, there was in a certain status quo. It was always the females were supposed to just do certain things.
Right.
But when the cycle came, and again, it was a luxury for a lot of individuals in a high class society. Now they had to switch it up, and it was something that they could afford. And then they had to switch up what they wore and how they were.
Which wasn't easy because they were not allowed to wear pants. Not allowed.
Yes.
So, as Fern was saying, so women wore dresses all the time. So because of that, that's when the step-through frame was made. So literally the way women dressed influenced the way the bicycle looked. Influenced its shape. That's fucking crazy in itself. So even to this day, there's still step-through frames. So it's frames that are angled down to make it easier for a lady to step over it. But little does everybody know that it's literally made for ladies that are wearing dresses and can't really stand over the top too. They want to flick their legs up so their hoo-ha doesn't come out. But nowadays, bicycles are unisex. Like, you don't need a sloped down tube. Because you're not going to wear a dress to ride your bike. Well, at least most people aren't. There's some people that have to or will.
And the step-through bikes now is great. I always recommend any type of bike for any individual that is looking for a certain type of bike. And a lot of times in this day and age, the step-through has become, like you said, a unisex bike. A lot of gentlemen individuals likes the unisex bike. It's not only for females just because it's more easy and convenient.
If you don't have a lot of like leg lift off, like you can get it up and over.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That's the thing about the bike. It has been through so many changes, so many additions to the traditional bike, and it's crazy how now you can still find some details that were originated from back then. Present today. It just shows how everything just like moved along throughout time, getting tweaked here and there.
Of course.
And then,
what I liked about the article is that the same article that I was saying is that it says today riding bikes has become an expression of lifestyle, and the bicycle is a common lifestyle object. And it's true because the way the bikes is nowadays, everybody's doing so much customization to their bikes. Not only aesthetically to make it look cool, but just to have a comfort bike that they're comfortable riding. Everybody has their own style. Maybe my brakes are harder than other brakes.
Fern style.
Maybe some other ones, maybe they like bigger wheels, bigger tires. There's a lot of differences, and nowadays it's cool to see that you can actually customize your bike inside out, outside in, front and back and front.
Yeah.
There is a lot of options when it comes to customizing your bike, whether it be from handlebar to wheels to tires, pedals, cranks, you name it.
I mean,
Yeah. And also that's kind of getting into the topic of how bicycles are affecting the economy. And I actually found a website that was talking about how bicycles are affecting the economy. Well, first, they're way cheaper than cars, because cars, you would have to go to the gas station, fill it up with gas, and then you have to go through that hassle. But with a bike, you can literally just unlock it real quick, just go off and ride your bike. So it is pretty simple, and a lot of people do like it because it does save you some money rather than some little bumps that you have to take, maybe a flat, maybe your handlebars twisted. There is different sections of a bike and of a car that a bike will basically overtake the car and 100% pass it and basically be way better than having a car.
Well,
So-
a car could be pretty much broken down into convenience.
Right.
Convenience as in it can take you farther distances, right or wrong.
Yeah,
in a
it's
more
but
it can take you the
feel.
same distance, just you're gonna have to work harder on a bike because it'll take you
True.
a lot longer.
But say if I want to go from here to a hiking trip and I have a whole bunch of hiking gear.
Right,
Believe it or
And you're
not,
gonna
You
go
can get a
more
cargo
people.
bike.
What
There you go.
I guess.
But you will have to work hard to get yourself and your equipment there.
Right.
But I want to touch on what we were talking about. That hold on, I had a quick brain fart.
How the bikes makes our lives feel great.
Oh,
how
oh,
it brings
How,
movement into our lives and gives us freedom that is environmentally friendly.
The era we're in right now about bicycles. So right now we're literally living the time of the biggest like bicycle boom in history.
Yeah.
So
bikes everywhere.
in Bike Citizen, there's an article talking about the history of the bike, like when the big boom happened. So it was only in 1950 that bicycles started becoming mass produced. So that's when you can find cheaper, low quality, inexpensive bikes. So that's literally when it started, which is, what is it again? 70 years ago? That's not even that long ago. That's not that long at all. And it's only now in the 2000s, 50 years, 70 years later, that, well, I'm gonna say early 2000s, 50 years later, which is when the bicycle really started influencing, not bicycle influencing, but people started influencing the bike. Like the bike started matching who they are. Like you can really customize your bike to be you.
The many different styles. Of
Yeah,
bikes,
like you can throw different color this, different color that, different shape this.
different size that.
Exactly. So that's when the bike really started getting its own persona. It's like the bike wasn't the same one that your neighbor had. There's no way. Like now when you ride down the street, there's no way you're gonna find a person that has the same exact bike as you, like 10 times over. Maybe once or twice, depending on the type of bike.
There's
you
always
have.
gonna be something.
Nobody's gonna find my bike.
There's always gonna be
Or
something
mine,
different.
pretty unique.
But we're literally living in like this huge bubble of evolution that's happening right now. We're seeing it, we're living it.
Evolution and adaptation.
I find that amazing. That's really cool. And us having a bike shop are the people kind of influencing it. Like what we have in the store impacts what people's lives are gonna feel and look like. So people come in here like, oh, all right, you have that helmet, I'm gonna grab that helmet. And that's what they're gonna look like when they're riding the street. But if we had something else, that's what they're gonna look like. So thank you for trusting us in our judgments and appreciating what we do.
Facts.
Of course.
That brings up a good topic. Earlier today, I had a phone call. They called the shop and
man.
but it's actually nothing bad. But
Oh, it was one of those phone calls.
It was actually,
not the other phone calls.
It was an interesting. Oh, we get phone calls, guys. Oh, we get phone calls. This phone
That's
call.
another topic though.
Oh, yeah,
we
we're
should
gonna
make
get
it a
into
whole
that.
podcast.
That's
Yes.
a big book of stories.
We might
We can start
have,
writing down phone call conversations.
we might have to start recording these phone calls and
Well,
just
we-
pressing play.
We have to tell them that they're being recorded.
Yeah.
Oh, of course.
But we'll tell them that after. So listen. So it was a phone call from a young lady. She was looking to get a bike fixed. It was a bike that somebody just
Which we
gave
do.
to her, and it was a situation where without even seeing the bike.
What kind of bike it is?
Yeah, she was giving me a lot of like rusty details. That should tell you a lot. But I asked her a question over the phone, and I was just like, why don't you want to get into a new bike? Like, when you come on in, I'll show you some new bikes. She goes, because she has a fear of riding the bikes because of today's society and how it is. She
Getting her bike stolen.
well, not only that, but riding in the street with the drivers,
Yeah.
all the deaths that's been going on, and she understood because I mentioned that. She was like, yeah, I know, I heard about this.
How many deaths have we up to, by the way?
23. Let me throw it out. Well, since we put it out there, we have to. I'm sorry.
Do it.
We
do
have
it.
to mess
So, on the...
We need more conscious drivers.
This is the New York Times. No, this is the Daily News. This was on the date of September 23rd. And we have a young gentleman that lost his life, 14 years old. I'm not going to say his name or anything. But he was a normal bicyclist, and he ended up getting demolished by a dump truck.
Oh,
And that was officially number 23 this year. So already, since last year, there's been an additional 13 deaths.
So it's more than double.
It is way more than double, unfortunately. So we have to throw it out there. God rest his soul. Sorry for the situation. We just have to be more conscious, like you said.
And try your best to stay safe out there.
You
Well,
always
these
got to stay
reckless
safe.
drivers.
Unfortunately, we know a lot of young and older people. We know a lot of middle-aged people that rides. We know everybody that rides.
Right.
And we never want to hear or read anything like that about somebody losing their life
Yeah.
just by riding. I always keep very conscious of all my guys. Mauricio's in the back right now doing what Mauricio does. Sometimes he could ride a little reckless and crazy. He does have brakes in his bike. Let's just
He
throw
wears
it
a
out
helmet.
there. But he does wear a helmet. He's very safe. He's very conscious. If he falls and hits himself, that's on him.
You gotta protect that noggin.
Also,
He's protected.
Also going back to the young gentleman that did pass.
Yes.
I did see on an Instagram called NY Bike Lawyers. They are a group of bikers that ride around Manhattan and basically just do
Oh, I heard of them.
little races. And here on one of their posts, the quote is made by Jake. Well, not really a quote, but the sentence is made by Jake Offenhartz. He says, "Appeals court upholds Vision Zero, allowing reckless drivers to be charged with misdemeanors." So basically, what that is telling me is that a lot of that Vision Zero is taking into account what's happening what's up with a lot of these accidents that are happening. And yeah, they are charging reckless drivers with misdemeanors, and that's really good. It's helping everyone, and it should get more people out in the streets riding their bikes. More bike lanes are coming out, so more people hopefully will be riding their bikes around town, and it is very good to have more people riding.
Sorry
So-
for the situation that just happened.
Air compressor.
Air compressor, very loud, door open. My bad, guys.
So to sum up what Fern said, you cannot legally be punished.
Oh, let them know that. Please. Know this. Listen to Wilmer, guys.
So
Wilmer? Doug, this is very important. I want everybody
We
to
need to
know.
do it again. Wilmer?
Wilmer?
So with regards to bikes, with all these accidents that happen, there most of the times there isn't really any penalties, any what's the word? It's not tipping my tongue.
Punishments for those who
What's
hit
the-
us
Okay, yes.
and kill us.
It is now
penalties is
they
good.
can now legally be punished for those actions. So
Even
a lot of
opening car doors.
people, opening car doors
Illegal.
Getting doored. Illegal, guys.
is now illegal. So that is
Somebody
great.
else called me about today. They made a phone call. They told me that they got doored today. I
Now
told
they
them,
can get punished.
quick, fast, in a hurry. You should try to get whatever information, or if you didn't, and you can place sue these guys. A lawsuit. There you
Yeah,
go.
there
Al.
you go.
So, go ahead, finish.
So this is very great coming from the city because they're trying to enforce all the safety bike laws and pretty much spread out to everyone to be careful of your surroundings and stay aware of everything. Because
Oh, because now they're gonna get in trouble.
yeah,
So now, if you're not paying attention,
Wow.
drivers, truck drivers, all drivers, if you're not paying attention, yeah, you are gonna be liable for hurting someone, for killing someone.
And Also, just to add up on that, with the people being doored, and also there is a lot of cars that park in the bike lane, and that is being heavily touched upon. And also on the New York bike lawyers, I did notice that they are making basically clubs and bike law talk. Well, that's what they call it, club bike law talk. And basically they have a lot of flyers basically speaking about all the laws and what is everyone as basically the people that live in this economy going to do to enforce that, and how are we going to reach out to the government and let them know, listen, there's this many deaths going on, like what's up? And they're making little clubs so that people will go to speak their mind and how they feel about that. And that's really cool because people actually want to see New York to be a better place and a bigger change.
So doesn't that go right back to we're in this bubble of evolution?
Yeah.
We're changing things and we're making history right now. And thank you for everybody who's involved.
Yeah.
So
Spread the word.
this goes into the social impact of the bicycle in society. So I actually have a little article here, the MOA.org article. It actually has a couple of interesting facts. So one of the statements is that bicycles, rapidly growing numbers of bicyclists, soon became a potential political force for the creation and improvements of roads and rubberized tire vehicles. So remember we were talking about roads, how the roads have been impacted by bicycles. So now that the bike lanes are growing more, thank you to the DOT again, and we mentioned that.
Thank you guys. Thank
Previous
you very
podcast.
much. I give you guys a lot of props.
The DOT is now paying attention to bike lanes and bike paths, of course, because they're the ones in charge of everybody on the road. Stoplights, signs, sign this, sign here, and all that nonsense, which is good nonsense, not really
Yes.
nonsense. But because the bicycle is coming full circle and making a larger impact now than it was 20, 30 years ago, we're literally changing the city all over again. And it's changing the way people see each other and they see the world. So I know when I'm riding my bike, the way I see the world is totally different from the way I see it in a car. So when I'm out on my bike, I'm free, I'm open, I'm still moving quickly. I'm not moving any slower than anybody else. I can usually, oh man, I can beat the J train from 85th Street to Chambers. I have done it. I have beat the J train. That's gonna be another video. We're making that happen. And
A POV video.
the fact that
Basically,
everybody is paying more attention is gonna make the bicycle and bicycle reality for everybody just blow up. Everybody's gonna be more comfortable riding a bike. And it's gonna make everybody want to have a healthier lifestyle.
Oh, of
More
course.
people are gonna be more comfortable riding bikes, and people are gonna be like, I need to get fit. I wanna ride my bike to work today. I'm going to Manhattan. Fuck that. Who cares about sitting in traffic? Nobody wants to sit in traffic. Nobody. It just makes you angry. So cars have impacted people in a huge negative way. Like, it's making people angry and aggressive and bad drivers, and that's why they're murdering people while driving. But if you ride a bicycle, you relieve stress and you feel good. We also spoke about this.
It's good for mental health, physical health, all that kind of health.
It's changed so much in our lives. So much.
Well, with the introduction of bicycles and cars alone, over here I have cycling also dredged up heated and deep-seated debates about who deserves space, especially on New York streets.
I would say whoever came first. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Who was it that came first again? And what was the reason we got paved roads?
I think it was the bicycle.
Right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Beginning in 1817. Let's throw that out there. What's his name again? What's his name?
Carl von Drees.
Yeah. Good job.
But yeah, so I would say bikes should get the right of way, mainly because it's a, let's say, 3-inch thick piece of steel, or maybe even 6-inch piece
Penny
of steel
farthing.
that is just taking up that little corner of space. And why would a bigger car, have to push a biker over and put a lot of pressure on them, basically almost
We're
having
talking
them
about
crash?
a 2, 3, 4 ton vehicle.
Yeah.
Versus
A small
But-
person.
like
It's literally almost like a steel horse, but just wait a little skinnier.
Oh, is that the new version, the steel horse?
Oh yeah,
Of the hobby horse? That's the V2?
But I feel like bicyclists should get the right of way when riding on the street. They're
Of course.
way smaller. It's basically, it's your body, and then the floor's right there. So it's
And
kind of got to get some
of
free.
course, one of the big reasons it's good for the environment.
Of course.
Less pollution from cars, all that.
Environmentally friendly.
Global warming is real.
Don't forget that.
Burns no fossil fuels, no coal,
Well,
none of that.
tires are made from fossil fuels and
Uh-huh.
inner tubes and
Right.
housing for cables, but there are alternatives. We don't have to use synthetic rubbers. We can use natural rubbers, which are a little more expensive and are available now. They're just a little more expensive.
Hmm. Not only that though, but bicycles doesn't kill people.
Well, you could kill yourself on a bike.
You can.
You could go do some crazy shit,
But like, how many
which is so
times
exciting.
you turn on the news, you read an article, you turn on Google's because Google's gives you updated news. You look on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and how many times have you heard a driver killing a cyclist, killing a pedestrian? How many times have you heard a cyclist killing a pedestrian?
I mean, I hit a pedestrian one time. I had no brakes on my BMX bike, and she went flying pretty far. But
But did she die?
she did not die. But in my defense, she froze like a deer in headlights.
Oh my God.
So when you see a bike coming at you, you should move.
I've been
Right. But the pedestrians should either not move or let them go.
Right,
or
don't
they-
panic.
Yeah, but we as cyclists has a responsibility as well, not to be irresponsible while we're riding.
This was years ago. I was
Right.
maybe a little less
of course,
responsible.
but I don't want anybody to think that us as cyclists that we don't have a responsibility as well.
No, absolutely.
we do.
Just like the car drivers have full responsibility because they have
Everyone
a
has a
4,000
responsibility.
pound machine.
Yes.
Which I don't know why the government gives out freaking driver's licenses for free.
Yeah.
Like it's so easy to get a driver's license, even though we're fair.
Listen, to throw it out there, since 2017, only one cyclist has ever killed a pedestrian. You can
How did that
find
happen?
I'm curious.
That's odd.
probably going way too fast.
We should look into that. We'll talk about it next
You
time.
look into it in the Gothamist, Gothamist.com. They were a website that focused on news, events, food, culture, and other local coverages. They were founded in 2003.
Man, since we're talking about news, can we let the people know to stop watching your local news and do your own research? All of our information comes from several organizations, not .com sites, .org sites.
Yes.
It's
Like
people just like
everywhere.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people that
Going
are
through
out, not mass media who's just feeding you the same nonsense over and over again. So do your own research.
It's always a good thing.
Yeah. And sometimes I don't really like watching the news just because
It's so much negativity.
Yeah,
Everything.
you never see you never see
Everything.
something good happening. You're always seeing something bad. They're always focusing on the negative.
Yep.
But I never see something
Oh
good that's
my
gonna
God.
change.
That's why you just have to ride your bike. You feel great.
You feel free. You feel
Relieved.
fantastic.
Leave of everything.
Even from back in the day, since you said that, bicycles saved workers and is still to this day saving workers time as well as providing them with exactly what you just said, freedom and greater independence. So whether it's female workers or male workers, we all love to ride our bikes for several reasons, and it gives us that feeling of greatness.
It's a feeling that it brings so much positivity for yourself.
It does.
You just feel great
Can we
when you're
talk
out there
about
riding a bike.
Can we talk about the different styles of biking now and how they've developed over the years? Well, let's touch
Oh,
on them because
man,
this is a
that is-
big deal.
There's a lot of styles.
So there's a large array of bicycles out there. We can mention several one. Everybody should mention one right now. Off the
Mountain
bat.
bike.
Mountain bike.
XC dirt jump.
Why? It's funny because
on their XC bikes.
I
So
kid you
that's
not.
hardcore.
That's a hardcore
That's
one.
a perfect example of evolution.
Exactly. Right now, you're looking at us laughing about it, But you're thinking like in your head, what? But now you're gonna go do your research, and we will tell you in a future episode about exactly what
Okay.
Fern said.
So, XCing and dirt jumping are
Yes.
mountain bike.
Yeah.
Mountain bike. All right.
We also have road bikes, several
bikes
different
as
type of
well.
road bikes.
We have BMX.
BMX
We
is
have
never gonna die.
Flatland Park and Street.
Cyclocross, track bikes,
Single speed, fixie
Commuters.
bikes,
Hybrids.
beach cruisers,
electric bikes.
Fat tire
electric
bikes.
scooters,
folding
But we're gonna
bikes.
talk about that.
Straight some big tire woolly mammoth. We have a video on Instagram. Go watch that video.
Go to BikeLane Bicycle Store on Instagram and watch our mammoth break video.
It's literally a mammoth making a mammoth sound.
Once you hear it, you will not be disappointed. You're welcome, by the way.
So throughout our next couple of videos, we will be breaking down every single other discipline. So we will be breaking down mountain biking, BMXing, roading, commuting, working bikes like cargo bikes, kids bikes, unicycles, anything that has
Hybrid
wheels.
bikes. Yeah, anything
We're,
that has wheels.
we're gonna break down every discipline and let you know what you need, how you need it, why you need it, where you can go do it, where to buy it, and everything you need to know about getting into biking.
And that particular bike when we speak about it.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
maybe depending on the one that we do speak about, maybe it's the bike for you.
Right. So say
That
you're
was
in-
good, right?
So say you're about to start a new form of biking. You can check on over here. We'll fill you in with all that information.
Yeah. Cool. So we're gonna leave it there. This has been another episode of Bike Talk with BikeLane.
Or BTB.
I'm Ed.
I'm Frankie,
Wilmer.
Fernando.
That's Maurizio.
and that's
the camera.
Mauricio. Episode 6, Brief History of Bicycles.
It's your boy.